We are starting the month of Safar with this disturbing news coming from Beirut, from Baghdad, from other areas. There is a hadith that النبي عليه السلام قال من بشرني بخروج السفر أبشره بدخول الجنة. And this shows that the month of Safar was a month of so much struggle and sadness for Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. I would start this sermon with expressing our condolences to the families of the martyrs in Beirut who were victims of a blind and barbarian bloodshed of forces of evil and aggression yesterday. Based on the latest news, almost 300 people were either killed or wounded in Burj al-Barajana, and this is the worst terrorist attack and the worst incident after the civil war in Lebanon. The agents of evil, the agents of hatred, hypocrisy and oppression caused this catastrophe for our brothers and sisters in Lebanon, and we share this sadness and this tragedy's pain with those brothers and sisters. And we know that the forces of truth, brothers and sisters, always in history of humankind were targeted by three satanic forces: by the pharaohs, by the Qaruns, and with the Bal'ams, or Bal'am ibn Ba'ur. They represent, the pharaoh represented the might, the Qarun represented money, and Bal'am ibn Ba'ur represented religion, a fake religion. And the Quran is taking the hardest position towards bin Ba'ura, a person who was a Zahid, he was a scholar at the time of Moses alayhi salam, but he led people to darkness and destruction. So he took the same position of the might and money. And the Quran says that فَمَثَلُهُ كَمَثَلِ الْكَلْبِ. It's amazing that this example, that this person was like a violent dog, has not been used even for the Pharaoh and for Qarun, but Allah uses this term for a religious, so-called religious leader who, out of greed and thirst for dunya, hubb dunya, love for this world, caused so much destruction. It says, إن تحمل عليه يلهث أو تتركه يلهث. This violent dog, if you try to drive him away, drive it away, it pants. And if you leave it alone, it also pants. That means that it's so much thirsty and insane and crazy that regardless is going to damage. This is what the Quran says. And this is the example of Wa'az Salatin, those paid preachers in our time that they issue fatwas. Like whatever the king wants, just they write it down and say, this is what we want. And it's okay. They sign it like a religious fatwa. This is exactly what they do about, the khutbatul Jum'ah, the government makes it for them, and they just go and read it. They practice how to read what the government wrote. They try to justify the crimes of the authorities. There are, of course, always scholars who tell the truth. The example of Yaqub ibn Ishaq ibn Sakit. You have heard about Ibn Sakit, that Mutawakkil al-Abbasi, one of the Abbasi's king, he asked Ibn Sakit to teach his sons Al-Mu'taz Al-Mu'ayyad. And one day, Mutawakkil said, Ya Ibn Sakit, أيما أحب إليك ابناي هذان أم الحسن والحسين? Who do you think is better in your eyes? My sons, Mu'taz and Mu'ayyad, or Hassan and Hussein? Ibn Sakit got upset. He said, Mutawakkil, what are you talking about? Are you comparing yourself with Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam? Do you compare your sons with the son of Ali al-Murtada wa Fatima al-Zahra? This is a big insult. Wallahi inna qambar khadim Ali khayrun minka wa min ibnayk. I swear by God, you cannot compare yourself with Ali and your sons with Hassan and Hussein. Even the servants of Ali ibn Abi Talib was better than you and your son and whoever that you concern. فقال المتوكل للأتراك صلوا لسانه من قفاه. He said, take his tongue from back of his neck. They did. And Ibn Sakit mata shahida alayhi rahmati wa ridwan. But there are so many other scholars that they are munafiqeen. And brothers and sisters, the ummah, this poor ummah, is targeted by oppressors on one side and these hypocrites, munafiqeen, so-called ulama and mashayikh of as-salatin on the other side. So they are targeted by two. Whatever Hosni Mubarak used to tell them, and now Malik Salman says to them, that's it. Not too many Ibn Sakit, but then we have too many of those Bal'am ibn Ba'ur. There are so many of them. And it's not that these criminals, they target like only Hezbollah in Al-Dahiya al-Janubiyya because they are Shia, because they are anti-ISIS. How many ulama al-Sunnah who did not sell their souls to Takfiriyin and to the people of might, money and hypocrisy were killed in the last decade? Just 2 days ago, 2 years ago, Allama al-Shahid Saeed Ramadan al-Bouti. Many of you know al-Bouti. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَنْ بُوتي. This man ترك 60 كتابا حول علوم الشريعة والفقه والآداب والأحكام. 60 important books in Syria. He was the highest religious alim. He was Sunni. He was not Shia. He was Shafi'i, min ulama al-Shafi'i. But then they put a bomb in his mosque, Masjid al-Imam, and there were another 100 people in Beit Allah, the house of God. While this pious man was doing tafsir al-Quran, he was talking about the Quran. Baytullah, Kalamullah, Kitabullah. He attacked and killed him, and he had said something even before this tragedy in Syria, before war. Before the new situation in Syria, he has said that أراني الله عز وجل رؤيا وكلفت بإبلاغها. SubhanAllah. This man, he said, I saw something in my dream and I was told to share it. He never said it in his life that this is كلفت. But first time he said, كلفت بإبلاغها. He said, I can see based on that dream that the dark clouds are coming towards Syria and its people. It's going to be a very tough situation. He said, Ittaqullah, ibadallah, udu ilallah. These ghumam, these dark clouds are coming. It's going to be very tragic. But then said, al-aqibatu khayr. At the end, the light is coming up. And at the end, there is a bushra and good news. Well, it's going to be very, very difficult. So they kill such a big scholar. Who are the killer? Some guys who just were some from Beirut Haram and Al-Khammareen and some of them from bad families that were drinking alcohol and Quran. And all of a sudden, some of them say, oh, we converted to Islam, and some of them, they became Muslim right away, and immediately they put a long beard or a dishtash or a kufi, and they became like marja for themselves, and they think that is okay to kill a man of 85 years old. Such a faqih and zahid, al-mujahid, al-marja, al-mufti, السني الشافعي في بيت الله في حين تفسير القرآن. What kind of animals? Just a few days ago they put a video online, the ISIS, the Shi'ite, that they were killing 200 Syrian kids. 200 kids, they were just killing them kids. And they get fatwa from those who call them Shaykh al-Islam, Ibn Taymiyyah, Shaykh al-Islam, Shaykh al-Islam. مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار. It's amazing. One time Allah says the example of Ba'ura is an example of a violent dog. مثله كمثل الكلب. And in another verse it says كمثل الحمار, they are donkey. They lost their brain, their faith and everything. It's not only talking about ulama Bani Israel. It's also, you can say, مثل الذين يعني ادعوا إسلام نفس الشيء. مثلهم كمثل الحمار الذين حملوا القرآن ثم لم يحملوها. We can say, is حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها. Now حملوا القرآن ثم لم يحملوها. They are carrying the Quran, but they didn't understand the spirit of the Quran. It's the same. It's the same. And by the way, brothers and sisters, I know that in the social network some people are attacking all the Palestinians because two of those criminals who caused the explosion in Burj al-Barajana were Palestinian and one of them was Syrian. Well, it's not about nationality, of course. We know that there were so many khawana, so many people who betrayed the cause of Palestine from the Palestinians themselves. We know that. You know, there are so many umala among the Palestinians. Everybody knows that. those who never appreciated the service of those people who were real helpers of al-Muqawama al-Palestinian. They betrayed, they didn't show appreciation. They are khawana, traitors. But we cannot generalize. We cannot generalize that all the Palestinians, they betrayed the cause. How we know if they are the same umala? Because the things that they are doing, it's Saudi, Sahyuni, this ISIS, they are doing the same thing. Then like yesterday in a hospital in the West Bank, like 30 of the Israeli soldiers, they put fake beard. Can you imagine? How cheap, how ugly and embarrassing that a big government over there, their security enforcement, they put fake beard and taking a wheelchair, and one of them sit down like that. It's an emergency. They are taking this person to the hospital. And then they go inside the hospital and they kill someone to arrest someone 2 in the morning. So this is exactly the ISIS style. Now ISIS is doing it in a bigger scale, like in Dhahya Junubiya. It's the same style, the Saudi, the Sahyuni, the ISIS, they are doing everything. So we cannot really generalize and accuse all the Palestinians, because these are the same Palestinians who are madlumin, they are oppressed. And the Palestinians are the most madlum nation in the Middle East because they have been suffering for the last more than 60 years under occupation and injustice. So we have to be careful. But the point is here, brothers and sisters, that this ummah is in fire. Al-Ummah al-Islamiyya. Lack of wisdom of people in authority and lack of wisdom of many of those wa'az salatin or those paid preachers or ulama and mashayikh. So what we need for us, for our children, for our family, for our community, for the Muslim ummah, is to pray for wisdom. That Allah says, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا لُقْمَانَ الْحِكْمَةِ. We bless Luqman with wisdom. With wisdom. Hikmah is really a great light from divine. Hikmah, wisdom, is a gift from God, is a grace from God. Is more than somebody is aqil. كل حكيم عاقل ولكن ليس كل عاقل حكيم. As we say, عموم خصوص مطلق. When there is wisdom, there is reason. But sometimes there is reason, but not necessary wisdom. If we have wisdom in a society, then there is no arrogance. If there is wisdom, there is no ignorance. There is no jealousy, fitna, hatred, hypocrisy, evil, darkness, injustice, oppression. We don't have these social evils if there is wisdom in the society. This is why Amir al-Mu'mineen made a wasiyah to his son Al-Hasan, Ya bunayya, ahyi qalbaka bil maw'idha. Let your heart get live with the spiritual counseling, maw'idha. وَأَمِدْهُ بِالزَّهَادَةِ. At the same time, kill those desires in your heart with zuhd, with purity and piety. وَقَوِّهِ بِالْيَقِينِ. Increase and strengthen your soul, your heart with certainty. وَنَوِّرْهُ بِالْحِكْمَةِ. And bring light in your heart through receiving wisdom. Ya Malik, أكثر مدارسة العلماء ومناقشة الحكماء في تثبيت ما صلح عليه أمر بلادك. When Amir al-Mu'mineen is sending Malik to Egypt, that famous letter is saying that if you are going to serve the interests of your people, have your communication with al-ulama, the real scholars, the people of real knowledge, ومناقشة الحكماء, and discussion, connection with people of wisdom. الحكمة شجرة تنبت في القلوب وتثمر أو تثمر في اللسان. The roots of wisdom are in your heart, and the fruit of wisdom in your tongue. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم كلمة حكمة يسمعها المؤمن فيعمل بها خير من عبادة السنة. سبحان الله. One word of wisdom, when you learn it and you practice it, is better than 1 year of worship. This is why we call this Dar al-Hikmah, right? We had, lots of discussion what name we were looking for when at the establishment of the House of Wisdom. Here in American society, this says House of Worship, right? This is a House of Worship. But the Prophet saying House of Wisdom. If one word of wisdom is better than 1 year of worship, because all of these guys who issue fatwa to kill, all of these ulama, all these innocents, they call themselves Ahlul Ilm. And they pray a lot. I mean, look at these guys that they were happy when that Sheikh Said Ramadan was killed in Syria. If you look at some of the expression, they show happiness. Even somebody like Qardawi is like saying that, the way he expressed himself, they show their joy. But wisdom is something else. Ya Ali, an yahdi Allahu bika rajulan wahidan khayrun laka min ad-dunya wa ma fiha. If Allah used you as an instrument of guidance and guide one individual, that's better for you than the entire world and all the blessings of this world. The mission of Prophet Muhammad was يُزَكِّيهِمْ وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةِ. Not only to teach us the Quran, but to teach us al-hikmah, wisdom. Make us Rajal al-hikmah, people of wisdom. What is the first sign of wisdom? If you are wise, what is the first thing that you will do? Or we do? Quran says, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا لُقْمَانَ الْحِكْمَةِ. We gave Luqman wisdom. What was the first thing that Luqman did when he received al-hikmah? Wisdom. And anishkur lillah. وَمَنْ يَشْكُرْ فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرُ لِنَفْسِهِ. Appreciation. The spirit of gratefulness. If you are wise, you are grateful. Wisdom is about, the first thing is appreciation. I was impressed that some of the girls and non-Muslims who were in Salat al-Jum'ah last week, I received some letters from them of appreciation. Just one time in Salat al-Jum'ah, I said, our Jama'ah has been 20 years in Salat al-Jum'ah. I never heard this word. And you were here just one time and such a letter. This is appreciation, not for me. Anishkur lillah, to be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because when we appreciate that, we are not honoring God, we are honoring our dignity, our integrity, our soul. I received a telephone from that rabbi who was here last Friday, and he was so happy. He spoke here on last Sunday. He came to the dinner or anniversary, and then he said, after the dinner, he said, is there someone who can help me? I have to go towards the airport. And I said, so yes, we assigned one of the brothers to take him there. He said that I was supposed to fly back to New York tomorrow, it's a Monday. And then he said, but I heard Netanyahu is in Washington, D.C. I want to go tonight, I want to drive. I canceled my flight back to New York. I'm going to go at the airport and rent a car and drive, and now it was like for 5 p.m. Drive drive to DC because I want to be there in front of the White House tomorrow morning for a demonstration against Netanyahu. He said, I have one request. If there is, my wife is in the hotel in downtown. If you can send one sister tomorrow to take her from the hotel and bring her to Dearborn, she may like to go to some stores and some modest dressing, or if she likes to see Dearborn. And then take her to the airport. She want to fly back to New York. And Monday morning I called like 4 or 5 of sisters, and everybody was busy, obviously. And all of a sudden I remember, what about Saida, my daughter, my oldest child? And she said, I'm in my way going to the library, I have a big project today. I said, Baba, if you can, for whatever reason, cancel or postpone, do something, because I promised this rabbi and I need somebody to go and take his wife and take her back to the airport. And alhamdulillah, she did that. She even didn't tell the lady that is Imam's daughter. And then I received a call from Rabbi a day after, and he was so happy and showing maximum appreciation. I said, I have to appreciate what you did. How many Imams would do that? Starting from myself. If I have a flight back tomorrow in New York, now cancel my flight, put my wife in hotel in downtown Detroit, and go at the airport and rent a car and drive for 10, 12 hours in darkness of night to be in front of the White House tomorrow to oppose Netanyahu. How many ulama, even from Muslimin, from the Middle East, from anywhere? I said, we appreciate this sacrifice. May Allah bless our martyrs, whether in Barbarian in Beirut or those martyrs in Baghdad. Yesterday there was a mosque of Husseiniya, they were killed. And in Syria, in Bahrain, in Yemen, in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, it doesn't stop. And only God knows where we go from here and how longer these crimes continue. But we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for peace, for justice, for truth, and to provide us with wisdom, to help us to raise our children, our sons and daughters, with wisdom. If they have wisdom, then they are not going to get close to drugs or alcohol and haram stuff out of the strength of their integrity and their wisdom. Our special dua for those 2 ladies from the community. I think both were Layla by accident, and also one of Layla Madloum and Layla Talib, and also زوجها حسين مصطفى. على أرواح جميع الشهداء وشهداء من جاليتنا. We pray for all of them. May Allah bless their soul. اللهم إنا نسألك الهدى والتقى والعفة والغنى. اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا ولمن له حق علينا وللمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات. اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم من أراد بالإسلام والمسلمين شرا فخذه أخذ عزيز مقتدر، فإنه لا يعجزك يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين. عباد الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. وعلى أرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات والشهداء في اليوم الماضي وكل الشهداء نقرأ سورة الفاتحة بعد الصلوات على محمد وآل محمد وإلى